Welcome to episode of Potion Sword Run. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Grifters getting angry at Helldivers 2. Why? Because that's what they do. Helldivers 2 creative manager, director, person released a statement or a tweet talking about DEI and how games should focus on games just being fun. You know, disregard all that other stuff. Let him tell you in his own words. New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2024. With 10 minutes of 2025, what are your expectations and desires for what's next Arrowhead game will be? I'm working on high concept, but I would love to hear your speculation. You know, just talking about the next game that they're going to be doing after Helldivers 2 success. And you know what people expect. One guy says, never add DEI to your game. So he replies, if it doesn't add to the game experience, it detracts. And a game should be pure pursuit of amazing moments. Perfectly tweet, you know, saying that if DEI was to distract, then there's no point of it being in the game. They're focused on just making great experiences. But gamers being the way we are, we always like a follow-up, you know, just to make cement it, you know. So there was a follow-up. How would DEI have benefited Helldivers 2? And he replies, I don't like labels. But mankind is united in an extreme xenophobia on Super Earth. Inclusion, so maybe that's DEI? I really don't care. Make good games, don't make contemporary political statements. And yeah, I guess being inclusive, all mankind holding hands, fighting against the bugs is, you know, DEI. According to them, it's woke, you know, you can't have inclusion. But he says disregard all that. What he's focused on is just making great games, which is a perfectly good statement. He's not against DEI, he's not against inclusion, he just wants to make great games. And if people can't understand that, and some people can't, then that's actually their problem. And therein lies the problem. People like Grums, Edelman, Smash JT, and them, you know, they might be right in certain aspects of games being politically forced down your throat, certain games. But when games like Helldivers 2 is doing the right thing and is actually walking that political line, not saying they're against it or for it, but just saying that they want their games just to focus on the awesomeness of making games, they still can't win with this crowd. In fact, they can't win with any crowd. The wokies are angry, and so are the grifters. Here's a person that I like to follow. He's actually quite funny. He fights against the grifters, but you will label him a wokie. Align more with him than these guys, because at least the wokies are more about inclusion and, you know, having fun, whereas the grifters are about getting people angry and canceling people and canceling studios and stuff. I can't stand behind that. Kate Bush's husband, known as Airbagged. He's a big player in the Twitter sphere, so I'll mention it from time to time, and now you know where you know what I'm talking about. This is such a weird statement. And of course, Grums is using it as a win for his side when he led the harassment campaign against your community manager last year. Helldivers 2, this isn't the first time it's come under fire from these guys. Back in the day, they were banned from their Discord because nobody wants to be around negative Nancy's all the time. And they kept on bringing up DEI this and that, and, you know, the moderators got pissed off and banned them from the site. And that's something that I would do too, because you have an apple, then it's like a little rotten spot that just sits there and festers and festers and festers, and if you don't do anything about that rotten spot, the whole apple is gonna rot. But see, that's the kind of people that Grums, Edelman, Smash JT, and Hypnotic and the rest of them are like negative Nancy's. They're that rotten spot in the apple that nobody really wants to hang around with too much. Sure, you know, it's noticeable whenever they talk because they're a big rotten piece of fruit, but the rest of the fruit kind of wants to, you know, talk about the games, have fun about the games, nerd around the games, and they don't want to be constantly talked about DEI, agendas, and this stuff because it gets boring, it gets bothersome, it starts to bring you down, it starts to bring the community down and the game down. So what you gotta do is cut that little rotten piece off of the fruit. Even though they might be, you know, having good points in certain types of games or certain things, in certain communities they're just not needed. And in Helldivers 2, a game that's by all means non-DEI. I mean, sure, it's inclusive by nature, but that's like normal, and they kind of are trying to make it unnormal, and people don't want to be around that, and it's quite simple. but Grums and them don't understand. Helldivers 2 is getting bad press from Edelman right now. I don't watch his stuff because his stuff is full of shit. But his reasoning for not liking this is dumb. Same with Grums.
These are great words, but until you take action, they're just words. Do you stand by them? Do you reject DEI?
And the thing is, he don't have to reject DEI. All he has to do is make great games. Even if it has DEI stuff in it, whatever your DEI subject of the week is. His job is to make great games, and he's telling you that. And he did make a great game.
Then why do you continue to allow your community moderators to ban anti-DEI sentiment in your Discord server?
Because it's toxic, it's boring. Then the conversation becomes that instead of it being about the games and all the cool stuff you can do in the game. Like, why would you want that little rotten piece of fruit to ruin the whole server? You know, take it as a win. Go and say this game is not DEI. But they can't because, you know, the moderators are just like normal gamers who want the game to not fester in the negativity, but to be celebrated for all its goodness. And all you guys do is fester. Sticks in the mud. Negative Nancy's. And nobody wants to be around that for a long term. Sure, you guys might be nice to listen to once in a while because, you know, we know how the mainstream media can be. But over and over again, to the point where it distracts from the game and the community and what it's supposed to be about, that's something that gamers are tired of. And it goes to show by you guys being banned from all these servers.
Why do you ban the mention of me or ban the fans who are speaking out against DEI?
Again, because you are toxic. Because you spew nothing but nonsense and your voice gets tiring over and over. Your ideas are whack. Because your discourse is boring. It really is. It's that rotten piece of fruit. It's good to look at once in a while and be like, ooh, what is that? But then after a while, your finger starts to smell. And that's it. You guys are smelly, crusty old white dudes. Even though you're not a white dude, you guys are crusty old white dudes. And nobody wants to be around that anymore. Because all you guys talk about is about being victims. Victims.
Why do you employ a head of community management that is actively anti-gamer, anti-white, and a woke activist?
See, nobody wants to be around victims all the time. Especially non-victims. When we live in America, white people are victims in America? The United States of America? Come on, man. See, like, we can't take that serious. The majority of people in the United States are white. Like, about 75%. And yet, you guys are the victims. Yes, I know Grums is freaking Asian, but he's white by all means, or at least he thinks he is. Good God. See, at some point, you gotta realize that the message isn't the problem. It's the messengers. You guys are freaking weird. You guys are crusty and shit. Nobody wants to be around you. Your ideas, bottom of the barrel. You seek out the least common denominator. And the people who support you, freaking neckbeards for most of them. Like, I used to think they were pretty much normal people, but then when you keep on seeing their actual profile pictures of them, you're like, oh my God, it makes total freaking sense why these guys are angry. But the thing is, you don't gotta reinforce that anger. Just get a new perspective in life. Start watching better creators, because these guys who get mad at Helldivers 2 for wanting to fester a community that is about the actual game and not people's politics outside of games, like, why would you get mad at that? Especially if you're a gamer and you want to celebrate games, especially if you want to celebrate the games that don't have DEI or who are actually talking the talk, but who don't want to be around these type of people. Like, I wouldn't want to be around them, and I'm a damn gamer. Am I anti-gamer? Am I anti-white? No, I'm anti these fools. Because that's what they are, fools. That right, Charlie? Well, I'm gonna leave it right there. You guys let me know what you guys think. Remember, always be kind to yourself and enjoy your life. And I'll meet you right there. Peace.